Hello, folks, and welcome back to this edition of Speed Run and Walkthrough for Chris Sawyer's Locomotion. We're going to continue on with the challenging stages. Next up in our chronological sequence is going to be Bottleneck Blues or Clifftop Climb. We're going to do Bottleneck Blues. I think Cyclade Capers, yeah, it's a 1960 start there. Yeah, Bottleneck Blues, this is I'm going to just pause for a second. This is a kind of interesting map. As you could expect, there is a bottleneck that goes through the map. It's basically like this mountain, alpine pass, whatever you want to call it. And it's not like you can't build through anywhere else, but there's a lot of elevation. So you either have to build tunnels, which is very expensive, or you have to go up and over them, which can be annoying if you're building lots of incline and decline railroad tracks. And of course, this is a North American map, so we do not have rack rail or any of the like super high alpine locomotives and railroad infrastructure available to us. I don't have a ton of like obvious industries to connect at the start of this one. There is, I believe, there's a steel mill somewhere close by or something we could make do here. Oh, actually, no. I think this was it. Yeah. So there's a oil refinery here in Blackway, or in Oil Wells here in Blackway, and then somewhere between Herborough and Fillingville, there is a oil refinery. This is a pretty good place to start for just getting yourself up and running. It's a pretty long route, and I believe this oil wells production statistic holds pretty true. So we're going to get started there, but just one note about the sort of mountain pass here. You don't need to like try to claim every last square. This is a huge stretch of land. Other teams, other companies are going to build there eventually. But what I recommend doing for this is get two really good, like well laid out lines in here. Maybe do two in each direction, so 4 tracks total. And what you'll want to do is basically anything that you need to go from one side of the mountain to the other, you just want to go through on those tracks. And we'll talk about setting up the signals for all of that once we get a little bit closer to it. As one example here, there's might be one other. I don't see it. There is another oil well here. We'll definitely want to get the oil pumping from there out to the oil refinery here, provided it's not going to take too many days. Because don't forget, it is 1950. We don't have. Oops, we gotta get our colors sorted out here. We do only have the 10-ton tanker wagon. The 60-ton one does not come out, I think, until I want to say like maybe 1965, somewhere around that area. So if it does take us 10 years to get there, we have that option. Oh, here it is. It was in the wrong spot. Yeah, so these two oil wells will definitely want to get cruising with their oil out to the refineries. There's really no other good option here in the south as this map starts out. So we'll want to take advantage of that with the bottleneck. But anyway, without any further ado, let's get cracking on this one. So I think I'm going to eventually want to have 2 tracks here. I'm just going to shave off a little part of that road. Sorry, folks. We'll deal with the fallout with the passenger traffic there in a little while. But for right now, we're just going to take this. I might have gone a little bit too far there. We'll adjust that later. Going a bit narrow there. We're probably going to have to figure that one out a little later. I will say at some points on this map, it is truly better to just accept the elevation, kind of like how we do on some other maps when we're have plenty of cash. We'll probably go out to there. Missed by a little, no big deal. And we've got something. Got a couple new industries coming up. Will be helpful. We have the Pacific here. This is a ton of power. We should be able to throw at least 10 cars on here. Oh, we'll need a little bit more money. I think that's 10. Okay. Did I get that capacity right? 70. All right, so there's only 90 on there. We can definitely throw another one on there. We'll get an additional track going in a moment. So I'm not setting this up to be a very good row situation, but we'll figure out something with making this a terminus station. I'd really like to avoid any shenanigans with the land here not being perfectly even. Overshot that a little. It's very interesting. I'm not able to build a station here. I don't think I've seen that before. While that's going, I'm going to get this sorted out, get us one more train on there. Very interesting. I don't think I've ever seen that before. We could build stations here. It somehow thinks that there's a station all along. This is truly bizarre to me. Well, you know, we're gonna make the best of it. How many do we even have here right now? I mean, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we could just go this way. This isn't a particularly attractive way of doing things, but we're gonna make it work for us. Just in case we need to make these a bit longer. That is not what I wanted to do there. Getting a little too cute with this. I will have to go a bit faster. Get some temporary blocks in there for the moment, and we're going to buy us another train here. Finish the blocks. I don't ever anticipate us having more than like 3 trains on this line, so I'm not going to go too crazy with it. and we should be good there for the moment. It has been a while. I don't know how aggressively, or rather how rapidly, the industries tend to grow on this map. But just something to keep an eye out when you have the excess, you have the rather excess supply. Definitely want to transport it. There's not a ton of industries here. They do pop up as the game goes along, but you want to make the most of it while you can. So I don't really have another like obvious game plan here. There's a couple of ideas, like I can try to get some of this livestock and grain over to food processing plant. That'll be a little bit of a longer haul, so I don't need to do that like right this instant. Ooh, there's a lot of coal here. This could be a interesting opportunity if we hit a steel mill. Maybe we could fund one later on. But anyway, yep, a new transport company has started, so we're going to try to take advantage while we still have a little bit of initiative and cash on hand and get at least 2 lines going through here. If we don't get more, we don't get more. We could improvise, but definitely want to try to get this going. There's no real rhyme or reason to this. I'm just I'm really just trying to avoid the cliffs as much as I can. You can see, like, this is really cut out of the mountain. I actually haven't noticed this before. Like, this is a huge... Oh, hopefully that's not us. Okay, good. Thank goodness. If that was us to start, I'd be... Honestly, I'm kind of a bad sport on some of those, so I might have just went and started this scenario over, if I'm being honest. I mean, that's just a huge blow, especially when you're... Like, our goal here is we're trying to float so much infrastructure, and it's going to be a while before we can use this, of course, because there's no obvious industries that we're targeting just yet. That cost us, I believe, about $40-ish thousand, so I'm gonna preempt that this time. And again, this is just the way I like to play this map. You're certainly welcome to play it any other way you want. I find that companies don't really like to build too much in between. They try to go above or below. So I'm actually going to be a little greedy and just go all the way to the other side here. That wasn't great. I'm not really too worried about getting the elevation right there. We are going to need to keep on moving through here. Yep, see, all right, that, God, I deserve that. I am cheap, and obviously this is such a small deal, but it's a couple bucks. This is arduous, I'm not gonna lie. But I promise the payoff will be worthwhile. We have this elevation here to worry about, so I'm gonna cut it over right about here. I think that'll be good. Excellent. Now we've got 2 tracks. We've got plenty of room in the middle if we want to expand. And now all we need to do is just figure out what do we want to do with it. I believe I had pointed out some interesting opportunities. Or am I forgetting? Yeah, I didn't even notice that. This farm was tucked nicely away there in the hills there. If we ever need to use this farm, if it's going crazy, we could very easily disable that roadway. It's a little mean, but that is capitalism. Oh, you know what? Here it is. steel mill here I had forgotten about, but we have plenty of opportunities with all of this coal. In fact, I'm going to probably try to set this up as a row station just because I expect a ton of train traffic coming through here. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. I forget what our maximum loan is. Might take us a little while to get this built, but that should be good. I'm gonna start with these, and we should be able to get 1, 4, 1, 2. That is absolutely beautiful. We're getting both in the catchment area there. We'll obviously expand the station when the time comes. I'm gonna actually not build a station there because I don't want to get a bad rating. Like a lot of coal is going to accumulate there, and we don't want to screw that up for ourselves. So we're gonna roll on, roll off from the right here. I'm gonna try to get ahead of the land a little bit. This is going to be very expensive for us, but will pay off. Are we? I think we're just gonna. Oh, oops. All right, I think this will work out fairly nicely. Well, you know what? This is good enough to at least get some cargo going here. I'm gonna try to leave us enough room, actually. So we'll start here. I think 10 is gonna end up being a good station size for us. And I forgot that we do have 25 tons per car, unlike the 10 in the other situation. I believe that's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, so this is going to be 200 tons a clip. Actually, let's try this. If this ends up being a struggle on the locomotive, we can figure that out, but we want to make this carry a lot of cargo here. Just putting this in high gear for a sec, of course. So that's not great for us. Decent amount of money. This one train is doing great so far. Yeah, about 20K per clip. Bankruptcy, yeah. Takes about a month. I actually am not paying attention to the one thing I need, which is what is the acceleration look like. Yeah, so that's a little bit slow. We're all on flat land, so I'm not terribly concerned about this right now, but I think eventually we're gonna want to amend that. Now, this is going to be a bit of a challenge. Now, we've repaid a lot of the loan, so I'm just going to float a little bit of the cash here. I want to get this guy. All right, so sleeping at the wheel a little bit. Not a problem, though, because we're going to make it work. It's just a matter of where do I want... Oh, of course, he's going right here where we were about to build. Well, we're going to eventually have to shut him down, put him out of commission. Oops. I'm misclicking all over the place today, folks. I know I'm going to want 2 tracks eventually. I just don't want this fellow to screw us up here. Now what we're going to basically do, I got to see if I can complete this before it starts saying, oh, this company wants to build here. Another company is about to build here. Well, you know what we're going to do? We'll just go this way. And we're going to go right through like this. Perfecto. It's not pretty, and it's going to be a little bit slow on our returns, but we're going to make this work out. I'm going to worry about the land over here in a second. I'm going to just accept the risk here. Eventually, this is going to pay off for us when we have multiple trains running here, and those trucks are just never going to stand a chance. And this is just going to be our whole big intersection where you could switch to any tracks. It's going to be blocked off anyway. Put on cash, of course. I'll worry about completing all. Oops. We'll worry about completing all of this a little bit more efficiently later. That's already been built, but we want this. We can connect to that. In fact, you know, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here. In fact, it might even just be more efficient to go in like this. Once again, we'll correct all of this. Now we're going to need signals, moments. All right, that should be good just to get us a loop, get a little bit more income coming in here. Once again, the name of the game is speed, after all. We're going to go 9. Now, I believe we're going to need to work a little bit of magic here. We'll want this train to loop back at some point. This is going to start getting nasty. Is this overkill? Yes, but I don't feel like dealing with the fallout of sizing this up. Yeah, so this is actually going to miss, which I don't like. We could solve it just like this, but it's the return track. I'm not horrified by that. But we could at least keep the station somewhat neat. I don't know if that train has made a trip yet. I want that here. It's not a huge deal, but that's where our block is going to start. We have not done anything here yet. That's just terrible. Well, while we're at it, it's time to end this poor fella's little industry here. He had a good run. I think all these are 36 a month. We'll just grab, I believe this is the smallest. All right, and again, this is a lesson to all you good folks out there. Don't use roads when somebody else is on rails. It won't work. It will not work for you. These trains are on two totally separate tracks, so I'm gonna just leave this like this for the moment. Let things marinate. We're not even close to these trains needing to be like desynchronized or anything. Just trying to get a little cash flow here. Yeah, we're still waiting a really long time here. When this changes, we'll get that flowing a little bit more. And this is going to be the name of the game here for a little bit. We're just going to need to let this run. And eventually we will get some of these other industries involved. 150, not great. 240. Could have made this a row from the beginning. Another thing we did not touch on is air travel. Take a quick look at that. We're getting to the point with this comet that came out where it's a decent amount of passengers. Like if we can go over the mountains here, this is going to be pretty lucrative for us. I don't have the ton of cash just yet. I could take out big loans here, but I want to survey a little bit first because as I remember, these aren't the biggest cities ever. So this is a candidate for an airport or a shoreway. Of course, pretty far off. I think the comet makes it worthwhile. Yeah, 500 miles an hour. So this will definitely make us a ton of money. We just have to check and make sure that we can swing the full cost of it. It's going to be basically call it 200K for the. You know what? I think we actually might be able to do this. The problem is we won't be able to get two, and we might have to float a little bit of the cash for the moment. Let's see. On fully flat land, this is 120K. If we go up, yeah, that's a lot of land to have to pay for. All right, yeah, you know what? We're gonna give this a shot. All right, folks. Give them room if they want to expand out that way. Actually, I think this is going to end up being more profitable for us here. All right, need right there in front of my face. Need a lot more cash. All right, that'll be good for the one aircraft. And you're going to go. Of course. Now that was actually a blunder. That's going to be. Did he even load up? Oh, he did. Okay. So we can let that go. That's fine. I don't normally like to do this with planes, but we've done this a couple of times before. We do want them waiting for full load of passengers, just because, you know, it's a very lucrative run. Yeah, this thing's gonna fly. We actually might not need another plane. This could be good for us. Once these cities start to explode, we should be good there. Yeah, I may have gotten ahead of myself. So that's gonna make us a ton of money, and it will let us focus on other things in the meantime. All right, so just checking in on some of these other companies. Looks like there were a few lumber yards we missed out on. Not really too crazy about this. I mean, lumber is decently profitable, but these are just tricky tricky ones to set up here, and there's a lot easier stuff we could be building. At this point, I think we could probably afford to get a really long train line at some point, which I think is like kind of the most fun part about this level. So let's see, what do we want to do here? I say we'll just do another situation here at this oil refinery. Let's get the land a little bit more set up. I will turn this into a row at some point, but don't see a ton of upside yet. That was a bit of miss. Can we sneak through there? I think we can. And it does not matter terribly much which one of these we use. Go. And basically for the same reason as before, I'm going to just redo this because I want to give ourselves a little bit more room in the middle. Unlikely the AI is going to come through here. If you do somehow find yourself playing this game competitively, take what you can get on this level. Good. This is our main artery through here, so we got to make it look pretty nice, right? And at this point, like, we could justify that we're just going over to this side, or to this. Sorry, to this oil refinery directly. There will be a lot of rail traffic to migrate over, but I think we'll be okay. Now the question is, where to for oil? 155, 248. We're going to go to the 248. If we need to get more oil involved, certainly do that. This is going to be a little bit annoying going through here. We don't really like need that much space, but unlike before, we are pretty much ready to go here, so I'm not going to waste any time. To me, this is just like not worth it to have to build over, especially with cargo being like very weighed down. I know we did this already in a couple other spots, so it's not a great example, but oh geez, that's just poor clicking of the buttons. I'll keep that as our outside track. All right, we're running short on cash. That's a good thing. At this point, it's just going to be a lot of buying train, so nothing terribly wrong with that. And before I get the next track in commission, I just want to try to save up a little bit of that money. Well, All right, so here's an interesting crossroads, if you will. I'm gonna go ahead and build the second line out here. Oh goodness, and the reason is because 10. There we are. The reason is I don't want the rating here to fall too much while we only have one single train on the route. Thing is, we don't we don't exactly have that much cash here. We're barely going to be able to afford one, so I'm actually gonna, you know what, I will hold off on that. Try to get some money back here, and we'll do some tricks. Hopefully, we don't have to do this too much, but we'll make it work. Oh, we cannot even afford a locomotive. That's horrible. I feel like we're just hemorrhaging money. I thought we'd be making a lot more by this point. This is a little bit of a miss for us here. Oh, you know what? Yeah, that we definitely screwed that up. Eventually, when this road gets cleaned up, we'll be able to resolve this a little bit better. I think we're good enough here. We can grab a train and not great. Go big for our britches, yeah, not what we wanted. Now we just gotta rig this up. Now I'm gonna fix this eventually. But what's gonna happen here is once this train is fully loaded up, we're just gonna send another one on its way. So in case we want to expand there. I'll get a signal on there just so we can, and we'll do the proper blocking later. All right, the train is off. So again, don't try this at home. This is we're taking a huge risk in doing this. Yeah, just to make sure, I'm going to tell him to route through here. This way it does not get confused. Going to be tricky. Oh, we got 7. So that's going to be all we're going to get at this point. We're going to copy this route. And what we're going to do here is we're basically going to be fighting for our lives. We need to complete this track. We need to do it very quickly. So I'm just doing this for the moment so that we can get a train through here. Or at least get a train back. I don't like that we're going in sort of the wrong direction here, but we do have a little bit more cash now, so we should be able to fully finish this out. We are pretty deep into our loan, so Not the best, but here we are. We're just keeping this nice and wide because eventually we'll want to tack on a lot of other tracks here. That should be plenty of time so we do not screw anything up here. Not need these waypoints anymore. And once this train comes through, in fact, I'll probably start where this fella is right now. Actually, we will need to wait for the other trains. This is not ideal. Gonna just pick him up, actually. And we could throw a few more cars on here while we're at it. Should have paid attention to that. Nope. All of this just to get the trains going right on right. We're gonna have to block these out very quickly. Probably end up needing to backfill these. Obviously, this is going to be quite bad performance-wise for the moment. And we got to fix these. And again, we're already starting to trend bad there. All right, oh, lost my cursor there. All right, let's get some more signals in play here. This should be fine for the moment. Again, the goal is one train width. We're not going to have a ton of trains here yet, so we don't have to worry about getting this exactly perfect just now. Anything that's close approximation is fine. These are a little long, but we'll be good. If we can afford another train, I'd love to get one on the rails. It's going to be tight. Ah. Seven. 8, 9. Ah, almost. Need a couple $1,000. 10. There we go. It's actually very encouraging. That means getting the rail traffic that we need. All right, this is what we've been waiting for. We're probably gonna be able to throw a few more trains on here. Now this is there's not a whole lot we can do about this, unfortunately. Ah, yeah, I blocked this out. Not great. It was all right though. Excellent. To get that third line in use. Billinghead, this thing is going off. We're definitely going to need a few more trains on here. We should have the infrastructure to support it at this point, so I am going to go 10. We're not losing out a whole lot on the acceleration there. I think the extra few tons could make a difference for us there. How's this station doing? Still not a huge deal there. All right, let's correct. Oh, we don't even have anything properly using this yet. That's already, nope, that has not been built yet. We just need this to get us onto that line, and we should have everything at that point. Built, and that's built. And we should be good. Just gonna throw a few signals here for good measure. Technically, we don't need these at all. In fact, I'm probably gonna get rid of these because we don't want a train to come into the block. Oh, how did that happen? This. Oh well. Well. Well, that was fun, I guess. Got a sort of 360 view of it. All right, so we needed train 3 and 4. Billinghead and Commonhead. All right, so get these out of the way. Well, that's going to be a little bit of a hole in our wallets, but sure we'll survive. Oh. Filling head's still going crazy. In this case, I am dropping down to 9, and the reason is it's taking a while to actually load up, and the acceleration coupled with the fact that I want faster trips, I think is enough justification to go to a shorter train. So hopefully this works a little bit better now. Working fairly well. And we seem to be swimming in cash, so this is nice. Be able to pay off this loan pretty quickly. That run for a bit. I think our ratings here are still pretty sweet. Like 100 is pretty much the sweet spot for this. Not perfect. We can maybe throw on one more train. I think at this point we could potentially explore getting this guy into the mix. And I'll start showing you now what we mean by really utilizing these common tracks a little bit better. What I'm going to do is actually have an entirely separate sort of offshoot of these. So I'm going to refactor or like relay out these tracks a bit in a moment. First thing I'll show you is like connecting up to the big route, and I think we've done this in a couple other levels. Get it rolling. Trying to think of the best way to get through here. Probably these. I think this will work. In and out. I want my one on the right to be going in that direction still. So this is going to be my, this line will be going toward the oil wells and this one will be going over. So very simply done here. We're just going to go. I want to make sure we're not doing too much of that. And now because I know this is going to be now going up and out, I could just do something like that and not feel too bad. Of course, I'd pick the one damn spot where there is a fires a bridge. Yep, built too far. Once again, when you're building these new tracks, it's always good to block them off. The trains don't go to them. All right, that's basically the gist. We're gonna have this line sort of join up with the other line there. And now let's take these to our other spot. At this point, we don't really care about money anymore. Gonna keep it at this elevation. That might actually have been a little bit too close. I think one more is what we need. Yep, take it right by. This will be fine. I don't think we'll get more than 10 on here just because it is fairly low production. Actually, we had a better opportunity to build this a little bit farther up. Yep. Hippers. And this should actually be a little bit farther up. It's not like it's a huge deal, but it's impossible for trains to go bi-directionally there. So here we are. We're already over $1 million. I did not recall that the money just came in so quickly here. Now this gets to the point where when we build these routes, we definitely want to have waypoints set up because the trains might get confused. That's what they do. And we're going to make sure he routes through this waypoint. All right, now we'll be good. We actually didn't do too terribly there. While those trains are filling up, I'm actually going to put one more on the line. I'm pretty sure we'll need it. That was expected. This was like way too much production. I'm not terribly upset about that. We're already probably packed up with what we could do. Yeah, we're that's not great at all, actually. We're at least getting pretty good usage out of the rows here. I could justify putting another train, but it's going to get perhaps a little crowded. Anyway, we're going to go back to these lines here. Again, rows would have been better, but not the case. We will potentially do that later. What we're going to do is basically we're going to split this off into sort of two groups. I actually have not done this before, so this could be a huge fail. But we're going to try it anyway. See how it goes. I really should not be doing that. I should keep it all at the same level because that's where the junctions are going to be. We don't even need to worry about that. That's just going to make it more sad. Up, and away. I didn't need that. Now, why are we doing this? Oh, this is terrific. We're gonna get a ton more power when we upgrade these locomotives. That will be for another time. Anyway, what we're doing here is basically having this one track sort of split off into one of two inlets, and then there will be one of two outlets. So this is the only way the trains know how to go because there's stations. This is definitely going to get dicey, and I will probably be kicking myself for this later, but... Okay, now... what we're going to do is we're going to basically have 2 options to go this way, 2 options to go the other way. We're going to get rid of this. We don't need connectivity there anymore. Don't love how this is not going to be all at the same level. We're going to have to fix that at some point. This is where we're going to start running into trouble with some of these. Now we need these trains to basically have a way back. That's what these 2 tracks are for. We're going to do a crossover there, and we're going to do a second crossover there. Whoops. And we're going to do one last. I don't know what I just removed there. I think we've done this correctly. And the problem here is that none of this is blocked off. We're going to have a probably decent sized backup. Now something's a little screwed up because for some reason the other signal doesn't want to let anybody pass. Not entirely sure why. We might have to delete it and recreate it. Well, we don't have enough brains to really see this in action, but the passengers are actually not doing great. I am going to grab another airplane, I believe. Somehow this is making us no money. Oh, because it takes so long. Ah, right, because, yeah, so something to keep in mind. Yeah, this was my bad. Passengers at 65 days, they're paying us next to nothing, despite all the blocks. So I'm actually gonna invest in another aircraft. We're gonna get rid of this wait for full loaded passengers. I did not realize it was taking so long. Also, we had lost a little bit of our business here. Now, this is just me being neurotic. This is not necessary. Hopefully that should alleviate some there. Yeah, the rail traffic has been doing here. Ah, 707. We love that. That's going to be an easy lift and shift for these. I thought I stopped that thing. Oh well. You know what? We don't need to replace those just yet, but what we do need to do is replace some of these locomotives. Get us a little bit more power. I think this is going to make a particular difference here. Again, we're less concerned with the speed than we are with the power. It's also a little shorter, so it maybe even get 2 more cars on here. Ooh, maybe a third. I think it'll fit. Perfect. Wrap this, or one of these, and then 1, 2, 3. I cannot believe that fits. We've got plenty of coal to go around. This is what I wanted to see for a while. Let's see the acceleration. You know what? It is kind of loaded down. It's not perfect. $148. Is this thing not waiting for full load? Strange. Oh, you know what? I might have screwed up the routing before. Oh, that's one way to do it. So yeah, just quick update on the score. Like we're cruising through over here. We're almost done. We just have to get to 60%. The air travel is definitely going to make it easier for us. All right, so I'm going to remember to pick this thing up off before. All right. Terrific. And that 707 is just going to make that flight that much faster. I'm going to pluck this again up right at the last second. And again, the idea here, I know we've discussed this before, is that we basically want to make sure we grab the passengers, or we unload the passengers, get credit for that, but we don't lose the passengers that we're boarding. And as we can see, we did not do that. This guy, yeah, it's just one passenger, but they're not really coming in all that quickly. Another thing I haven't explored a ton in this game is transporting cargo with air. I mean, we could do 20 tons. We have money to play around with, so like, we could say, hey, what the heck, why not? 270 tons. Let's see if there's a factory that's worth flying this to. Far enough away to justify the cost. We could just do requires chemicals. 2 options. Let's see. Right there. Or I think this one might be a little farther. How fast does Hercules go? 345. See, this is just not really fast. I don't even know if this is going to work out. Let's try here, and in the end of the day, we're just having fun. I don't see us like losing a terrible amount of money. Do I have to like refit this thing? I think it could just do whatever actually. Here, let's wait for a full load of... it can't take this. Okay, so this has been a little bit of a mistake. I might have to make a note about this, because I certainly did not notice that myself. Get a couple of nickels back. It seems like somebody's not cooperating here. We could grab a little bit more horsepower on this fella. I remember we talked about we had talked about like making these stations slightly longer. I just wanted to grab that before it was too late. This is why, because now I can throw 2 more cars on there, and it's, if you can see, it's just barely sticking over the edge. Next train, maybe I'll get a closer look at it. Just wanted to get rid of that window. And again, the speed is not going to help us too much, but the carrying capacity is always nice. So we're going to lose this, add the E8, and then, yeah, the very, very edge of this is sticking over. It's a little bit of a wonky fit. So this is why I don't need to go ahead and build the extra station here. It's not going to make a huge amount of difference. But what this is going to do is we future-proofed ourselves by not having to like re-upgrade all these railroads and make them much longer to account for it, because we've already done that. Oops, I should not have done that. I wonder, let's see if we could do an experiment here. 1, 2, 3 more? And the key thing to look for is full already? Oh, I guess we're just still waiting. I want to see another train come through and just see if I don't think the oh, you know what, that screwed it all up. Only 73 tons. Oh, what a waste. I screwed this up, didn't I? I'll just have to wait for the next round. Actually, we could probably intercept this train. Yeah, see, we can only pop 2 on there, unfortunately. In fact, this might be a huge problem for us because I did not make this side of the railway long enough. I didn't future-proof it like I did with the other stuff. Let's see what we could do here. This is just a tiny optimization. This isn't even really going to be too consequential. We cannot expand there, of course. For some reason we can't get onto any of these tracks. That's so I must have done something really, really bad. I'm gonna stick to 2. Don't want to screw anything else up. And now here's the classic. You know what? Yeah, so this is the classic. We could block these a little bit better. It might help us. But what I'm gonna do along the way is actually create I call them like bailouts, but really they're just other tracks so that when trains break down, um, you have you have an extra avenue. And this is why we built this so wide, right? Somebody built in between us there, not the end of the world. But what we can do is basically something like this. Get this going here. We're going to build like essentially a whole other track. Now it's easy to just, plop these down, but there is no value in this if we don't, one, get this blocked off properly, but more importantly, we need to have the actual bailouts. So what we'd want is basically something like this. I believe I did this in another level. The idea is you just have these sort of crossovers. You block before and after them. And now, if a train breaks down in between, you can opt to just go to the other track. You don't need these like all over the place. But the more of them you have, the more likely it is that you can fix a stuck train, so to speak. And keep in mind there are a few caveats here. Like this isn't going to work perfectly because oh wow, somebody already got bypassed. Very interesting. It's not going to work perfectly because some of these tracks are like really, really badly overlapping. And there's that issue with this game where if the tracks are this close, it still considers a train as being in the junction, even if they are on fundamentally different tracks. So you got to be sort of judicious with where you put these. I'm not really following any rhyme or reason. So this might end up being a little bit more of a fail than anything else. I'm a little bit behind on the signal blocks, so I'm just gonna head back a little bit. Hidden by this once again. I'm just gonna need to fix this up a wee bit. We could actually use this to start up our other bailout line. Although, of course, we do need to connect. We'll sort out the rest of that in a moment. I think this is going to be it. So for ending these, you basically just have to look at like where the trains are going. So in this case, trains can go here or there. If you're on this track, you need to be able to get over. So actually, the better thing is probably have ended it here, and then let the trains cross over. It doesn't matter that I have this extra stretch here, because I did set up the waypoints for some of these. And from either one of these tracks, you can get here, or you can get here. So it should not be an issue. Now we do need to add one more spot to bail out. Might not need it. I don't know. Somebody's gonna have to wait. While this guy is here, touch him up. Oh my goodness. Now, yeah, so unfortunately, these trains can't do a whole lot, but what should happen is we should see that this block is not free and this train should go to that side. Yep, so it is working somewhat as expected. I think I need to click this button and then add my extra cars. Wait for that train to go by. And so yeah, this train can take the extra track and get a little bit more acceleration, which is nice. I'm not really liking how this is working out, so I'm actually gonna call a slight audible on this. And this should be all we need. This was the one I just wanted to finish from before. And we should now be pretty much all good on this side. Oh, something's not looking great there. Might be breakdowns on the other side, honestly. It's definitely a more advanced railroad technique. I don't really anticipate many people needing this. I want to go straight, thank you. Oh, closing down. That's going to really be a thorn in the side. Well, while I'm working on that, we're going to need to clean that up. I will finish this, and then we'll run out the end of the supply there. Now the logical question is, how many of these how many of these bailouts are actually necessary? I don't know. I have no blessed idea. That's gonna work. You just need enough so that the trains can get past, honestly. If you find that your network is particularly busy, maybe you justify having a whole extra track dedicated. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that. Oh, we got a new bus. Tremendous. And I'm just going to end it here. That's pretty much the slog. I will add one more switchback or bailout, whatever you call it, or like maybe here. All right. Don't exactly need this one here. It's a little redundant. I'm being a little too cute with it. Breakdowns there. Those are killers. All right. You go to your next route. And you go to your next route. Oh, there's a new oil wells coming in. We can tap into that. That should be pretty nice. Now, we could try to like repurpose these vehicles and build a new line real quick. I'm not going to do that because I just don't. I don't know what the situation's going to be. Like, it could be totally different. Like, we don't know what the we don't know the demand. We don't know how much it's going to be producing. So I will reserve that. However, the good news here is that we have a little bit more room, and we may finally just go and do our row stations. Make it a little bit nicer instead of this cluster poop that's going on right now. We also need a little bit more commerce here. We're doing really poorly. I feel sad with how this is going. This airport not have quite as much going on. We could drop an airport in maybe here. Doorway. Oh, that's what we already have. There's Leadwood. Too close. Rohatton. Seems legit. So we're going to do the land trick for the airport. Just make sure that it will fit. That's going to cost us a ton extra money. That I'm going to lower that down. I think this will fit in. Nope, we need one more segment. Oops. Don't know why that did that. Where are you? Of course. Make sure it stops at the right place first. 7 passengers. That should help us out a bit. Not quite sure what's going on there. That's a... you know what? That could have been the issue. Missed a lot of efficiency on that. Oh well. Never a bad time to check in and see what you have a lot waiting on. Like, we still have a ton of product here. We could be shipping that somewhere else, perhaps. This thing's still going crazy. Where else could we send it? Requires iron ore or coal. This is the only other one. So we could get a real long train line and build off of here. Just curious how long these journeys take. So these take 49 days. If we check our production chart, coal doesn't lose a ton of value, so this might not be bad for us. Of course, as we're about to use it, that happens. Right. Oh, that's the wrong one. We want this guy. Great. I'm just going to keep it at this elevation. I really don't care the cost. Money should not be an issue for us at this point. We're just going to go right on over. And I'd like to tap in a little bit earlier this line, so I'm actually going to revise this. There we go. is going to be a little bit backwards for us because this line I built this way just because it was like more inside, but really they're going to be a little backwards heading back to that station. Not the end of the world. Yeah, see, we didn't have this blocked off, and that actually caused a little bit of a backup. You can see the train start to fork off and go to their own lines while that goes on. All right, so we should be good there. Now we got to just link up to the steel mill. All the way down here. Again, I just don't see the volume. I don't think it's worth doing a row here at all. That would happen, of course. We want to try to catch it right up here if we can. If not... Oh, good thing we weren't using that. Might have to break this one up into two parts here. This is proven a little bit frustrating to get through. Like something's growing a little bit. Don't care about the height here. Cargo ship, that's extremely helpful for us in this level where there's no water. Ooh, the sentry is here. We just did all these upgrades. Well, it does go a little bit fast. Actually, it doesn't matter because our gonna keep it at this height. Don't care too terribly much. A lot of stuff's happening. 1960 is the year. So now, right, as I was saying, to keep these as consistent with our existing setup as possible, I'm going to have this line go up and over. All right. This is actually perfect timing because the Sentry can do a lot of weight. Not too much more than the E8, but it's enough where I feel like it's a difference. And well, we'll see. 300 more horsepower. So the 14 fits here nicely. And we'll just need to block that off a bit more. I'm shocked that this thing hasn't filled it all the way up. Oh, it just dropped. That's quite unfortunate. You know what? I'm gonna repurpose this train. All right, see, that's what tripped me up. Is the outbound route here. Thought the train was crazy. Thought I was crazy. And the good thing about this is we have all this infrastructure. We don't even have to worry about getting over there. Like this train, right? That was the Sentry. That's the train. That thing is cruising. We have, well, it has a good head of steam, so that's always good. Ugh. That's horrific. That's actually, I'm so angry about that. These are gonna need waypoints. So strange. All right, pal, let's try that again. Hopefully this gets it right. It looks like it will. Terrific. That won't help. Good, clean coal. So our friends in the government would say. That was sarcasm. I feel like I don't know you all well enough to be good about that. 37. Okay. Grab 350 tons. I think that's 14 cars. I'd like to see this. A little slow getting moving, but I mean, it's moving. And he's got the route through waypoint. Nice. I almost don't even care about this line anymore. This is basically just to keep up our numbers. In fact, I think I'm gonna just... I want to drop it entirely, but I do not need that much, like, traffic being stolen, essentially. The whole point of that is just to keep our ratings high. Oh, that is actually awful. That's so much of our revenue. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Trains are going where they're supposed to. Good. Might repurpose this guy already because this is way more profitable. That's pretty sweet. Now it is time to say goodnight. This is really terrible. This is gonna put a huge dent. Hopefully this coal situation is gonna get a little bit better for us. And when using this, 217 is almost not even worth using. I'm gonna get one more of these and just shoot my shot here. Nothing's really clogged up yet. Oh, tell me that somewhere. Oh, wow, we got insanely lucky that we can keep reusing these trains. Hopefully they're just gonna... Alright, not using that. Should be able to just sort of like divert this traffic. Oh, that is really big. Just gonna get out ahead of this right now. There's another train coming to the station. All right, so we right getting close to tapped there. I need to figure out the way to get into these other tracks here. I'm just gonna probably wing it. Yeah, time is of the essence. There's no need to be cute with this. We know what's gonna happen. Actually, if I remember correctly, yes, we have the big tanker. Oh, this is huge. So we do not need nearly this long of a station. We'll keep it long just to have it. We want the right to be our inbound. The train will be empty at this point, so I don't really care too much. Don't feel like dealing with those signals. Whoops, but I put that track down. Tremendous, tremendous. I think we overshot it. Yeah, just a little. This is all legit. This is all legit. So 4 is 240. That's going to already be so much more. Oh, and that's the end of it. We dodged a huge bullet there. That was really poor planning on my part, not being able to adapt to the other trains, or rather the closing down of industries there. I don't know why I'm still building. I just kind of feel like it. This would be the way it goes. Oh dear. Wide coal trains? Are you serious? Why would it? Well, all right. Something must have gone horrifically wrong. I hope. Did I like not block something properly? Everything just froze. I don't understand. I'm extremely confused. I don't know why. Everything just got jammed up. This is wild to me. Oh well. Probably something worth noting for the next time. Oh, there's the problem. Well, it's a good thing that we won because we took a 15% haircut just on this. Yeah, not great, but we won. That's the important part. It took a little while, but we're still plugging along. So we've gotten almost all the challenging stages, only 2 left in this category, and then it's on to the experts. Some of these do take a long time. These 100-year challenges definitely going to need to be broken down into a couple of videos unless I pull some real big magic out of my butt. But some of these are they're just slogs. Mixing muscle might be the only one we can do in a reasonable time period just because a company value of £1 million is not terribly hard, and you start in the 80s and stuff is booming at that point. So anyway, that's all for this one. See you in the next one, folks. Thanks for jamming.